let's get this thing going. So before we get too far along, this is what I did to your chart of accounts. You can get to the chart of accounts, just hit the Control A anywhere you're in QuickBooks and it'll bring it up. So we needed a product sold category as an income. And so right now we've got went back to the notes and we're calling it this and this. We also need an expense. We got to bring those in, right? We got to buy them. So we have a product purchased parent category in your chart of accounts. Excuse me. And we also have the two totes that you're going to purchase. So the only way this is going to work is if you have this set up in chart of accounts, because I'm fixing to show you something here. So let's look at the issue of having an employee, a customer, and a vendor, all of which you do business with. And typically I see all kinds of weird workarounds. They'll put the last name first for the customer. They'll put the first name last for the vendor. And somebody will put a comma between this and a dot here. And it's just a mess to try to remember. It so happens that, like I say, I'm not a bookkeeper guy. I'm a data guy. And so in QuickBooks, a lot of people don't know this. Let's go set up a customer, and excuse me, we want a new customer, and we're going to use Bubba Ledbetter. I know Bubba, he don't care. And we'll fill all of this out later. Actually, we're going to create an invoice. Let's do something here. I think this looks better in the window envelope. Okay. We can also set this up to email Bubba his invoice, whatever. And of course you got payment settings, whether you charge them tax or not, customer type, and we can add new to this. There's a list for that. I'll show you that. Job info. This is going to be kind of tricky. I would recommend, because Bubba's going to have different sites out there, right? He's maybe have one in El Paso, one in Midland, one in wherever. So we might want to put the job description, create different jobs for his company as far as, well, time to location, however that works. Excuse me, I'm still drinking some water here. Anyway, so here's the cool thing about QuickBooks that most people don't know. We're setting up Bubba as a customer. So I'm going to use the brace, which is a shift and that key just to the right of the P, Paul. And we're going to put a C for customer. Now, the neat thing is we'll see this and it'll appear on all the transactions. But when we print out an invoice or a check or a purchase order or whatever, anything in those braces won't show up. So now we got Bubba set up as a customer. And we're going to say OK and close this. Vendor Center, new vendor. You know, I'm going kind of fast. So first we went to customers and the customer center, right? And then we chose new job or new customer. So that's how we got there. Vendor, vendor center, new vendor, and we're going to put brace V for vendor, another brace, and let's see, for vendor, I guess we ought to have a company name. Bubba makes a lot of money. He's just not too smart. We'll close this down. It just so happens Bubba cleans warehouses on the weekend, and so you're going to use him every other Saturday. Brace employee. And you can set up some payroll stuff here and make him a 1099. We'll do that. We don't want to turn on payroll. They're going to charge for that. So now, nope. Anytime those flyouts show up, just say no, for gosh sakes. Okay, over on list, we got to have something to buy and sell, right? So we're going to do the same thing. New non-inventory part. And what was that thing? IBC. Let me get my notes. 265. We're going to put a brace out here. And one of them is going to be product purchased, inventory. Let's do P for purchased. Actually, I'll show you something. We're not going to do past tense. So we have, and I don't know what that's going to be. So we're going to buy it for, I don't know. I have no idea. Now, in your chart of accounts, we have an expense account set up dedicated to this product. And this is what you want to do with each one of your products. You want to go over to your chart of accounts. Remember, I told you Control A will bring up your chart of accounts anytime. And if you're in the middle of billing somebody and you forgot to put in, actually, what is this? Product sold is an income. Okay. And we're going to have this, if there is one. We want to make it a sub-account of products sold. That's going to be the description. We don't need anything else. We're going to save and close. So now we have another product to sell. And we've also got to put it as an and let's see what happens when we do this. I'll show you something. Okay, so we're ready to go. The data string and the account coding from this to this to this to this is completely different than the data string under products sold. So we're okay with having both of these products, right? However, when we get back over here to the new item window, we have to separate them because you can't have two IBC 265s. They'll just flip out and you'll get an error message, and And we don't want that. Life's too short. So we're going to put this in. And we purchase it, right? Non-inventory part. We're going to say okay. Let's put them all in here. What is that next one? 330. Purchase. We can put inventory. We can put whatever you want to put in here. It's no big deal. I don't know what it costs. And we want to tag it with the expense side. Okay. And this is going to seem like a pain in the rear, but once you get it done, it'll be over. We had an IBC 440. If you hit enter too quick, that's what it does for you. Okay. Now we have the items in that when we go to our purchase order and buy something from your supplier, we can pick these three. But now we have to be able to sell them, right? So again, we'll put in here whatever will help you. What was that? And I don't know what it sells for. So product sold. This is going to be an income. And you can put a description in here. I need to research. I don't remember which description shows up. Let's see where this shows up. Okay. All right, so we know now. Well, let's go back and create an invoice. All right, so we're gonna, Bubba comes up as a customer, right? See? We're going to sell him, right? One of these. That description would have popped up. So I don't know what that was about. And we're going to, and see, the bill to shows up. We're going to have to rearrange these invoices. I don't know if you're using window envelopes or not, but we can make it work. Invoice number 3. Oh well. And you can pick an invoice number to start with. You can make it the date and concatenate an invoice number to it. There's several ways to do this. Here's where you would enter Bubba's PO, and then you've got some terms here. Excuse me again. And we can go through the terms list and put anything you want in here. Save and close. It wants to do spell checking. We can turn that off. Anyway, ignore. Okay. So we have an invoice. How do we print that invoice? This is your best friend here, reports. We're going to go to customers and receivables. And this open invoice, this is really an important one. And I would keep this thing in my memory. So we're going to click open invoices. And notice the C is here. We know that it's going out as a customer. We can bring this up. Let me show you what I did. We can look at Bubba, and it shows just the same report, but it does it in a different format. Anytime you have this, I don't even know if I can get a circle around that when I edit, but you see the Z in the little magnifying glass. If you click on this part, double click it, you'll get the invoice. It says print later. We want to print invoice. Yeah, and we didn't set up a default invoice yet, or a template. Anyway, let's print it because I want to show you. Okay, pause video while I scan it. All right, so here we go. So you'll notice we don't have any C or E or anything beside Bubba Ledbetter. And of course, I would have to use a standard invoice template where we can't see the product name. But, excuse me, the product name does not have a purchase or sold beside it either. Just so happens anything in that data string, when it is printed, the actual print escape codes, ignore that because it is a printer escape code. It's just one of those weird deals that I know. So that takes care of that. If we had a bank set up, we could write Bubba a check and we could pay him. But I can guarantee you this item right here, this part, does not show up. And so that gives the opportunity to have inventory that you can purchase with the same product number as inventory that you sell, and it shows up in your item list. Just need to be sure and pick the correct one because you'll charge them your price if you're not careful. And I think that's about it. I don't know what we changed, but so Control A for your chart of accounts, and I'll load this into an IIF and send it to you. In case you've modified your chart of accounts since we've met, or since I've got the excuse me, the backup copy from you, then you can export it to me. I'll put it in this one, add these products, or add these categories here and this one here. And again, these can be named. Once you get it, you can edit these. If you don't want products sold, you could name it products whatever. It's just a name for the category. And golly, I think that's about it. So we're going to wrap it up. Anyway, that's how you do that. And I'm going to mess with, I didn't find your template, so I'm going to mess with this off screen and see if I can find your invoice template. And we'll be sure and modify that where you can get your product number on there. Okay. I'll see you on the next one.